What's up, guys? Mike here from America, and I'm also known as Blue, as Backstab introduced me.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming to the channel, man. It's great to have you guys here. You're actually my first guest ever onto the channel, so this is going to be a lot of fun. So, we have the new spells. They're gaining each a 5% nerf on tower damage. Toby, what do you think of that?
I like it very much because I'm an offensive player and don't like to get spell cycled out.
Yeah, you're very aggressive. I feel like,
Yes.
recently there's been a lot of like defensive people that just turtle in and just start rocket cycling you out.
Yes, I hate graveyard NATO decks, I hate lockbait NATO, I hate all the defense spell cycle decks. I think graveyard is spell cycle too because it's a spell, right?
Yes, I think so as well. You pretty much cast it on your opponent's
Yes.
side of the map. That's like the only.
So in other words, Toby doesn't like playing against me.
So that's Blueshadow. Oh, so Blueshadow, you're coming out. You like spell cycles. You like those type of control decks that you can just cycle your opponent to death from pretty much. And there's nothing he could do about it. What do you think about the nerfs on spells? Was it necessary?
So I have a few. Yeah, for sure, definitely was. I mean, spell cycles should never be a usable strategy. Like the fact that Tim 2 was able to get 12 O's in a row with Rocket, Poison, Log, Tornado is absurd. That should never be a thing. No win condition besides that. I think as players get better and better at defensive mechanics, spells get more and more overpowered to kind of like balance that out. And players, struggle to actually break through, and the only reliable damage they can get is spells. And I think that's why we've seen so much spell cycle recently. So I think this nerf was definitely needed.
I totally agree. I think another big part of it was actually a card that's not even in this patch, but Tornado is one of those cards that just offers so much control. I'm actually surprised that this card wasn't targeted in this patch.
Yes, and if I can say anything, if you play spell cycle is really good because of three things. Lockbait is in the meta. Spell cycle counters lockbait. Because if the guy try to rocket cycle you with your lockbait deck, if you are playing spell cycle, you has poison, rocket, lock, more spells. If you play hog cycle against spellbait, the spellbait player will win because of NATO, Ice Spirit, Ice Wiz, and he just can play defense and rocket cycle you. If you play Muskies, he has 3 spells, you lose. Because of that, 3 decks are very popular in the meta. Spell cycle is just too OP.
I agree, especially with NATO. It's one of those cards that just allows you to just sit back, play defensive, and just capitalize on any aggressive movement. I think with definitely nerf of spells, this is gonna maybe affect defensive decks a little bit because you're gonna have to go more aggressive to get more damage in both. We'll see. We have another great topic to talk about. We have the Hog Rider nerf, guys. It's getting just a slight buff. Hit speed is going down from 1.6 seconds to 1.5 seconds, and the first attack comes 0.1 seconds slower. Is this something big, Blue, or Mike?
I definitely feel like it's a significant nerf. It's a pretty effective haircut to Hog Rider. I think it'll still likely be one of the better decks, but it's definitely not going to be the best win condition anymore.
Really, just with that little nerf right there, just like 0.1 of a second.
I'm not sure. I think it will still be really good, but in some situations, if you are need to get that one last hog hit to place to poison, to rocket the tower or something, it will matter.
Wow, that's
Well, I mean,
very
think about it
interesting.
this way, right? So, like, what's a good example? Any card, when it's ever buffed, like, by 0.1 second attack speed, that's a huge buff to the card. So why wouldn't a 0.2 second, decrease to the first attack not be a big nerf for Hog?
We've kind of seen it, with Electro. It's one of those cards that, used to be super good, and they got, like, I think it was, like, 0.5 second nerf on attack speed. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but, now we're seeing this to the Hog. I mean, it seems like a small nerf, but who knows? It can actually be, like, very significant. It can definitely, like, maybe be, like, one less hit on your tower, or something like that. We'll see how the interactions work with other cards.
Yes, and because Goblins and Ice Golem or Knight are getting nerfed too. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler! Oh yes, the Goblin nerfs. That's huge.
Goblin nerf. normally, if you look Tiber Royale, the best Hawk cycle deck for free-to-play players is Hawk, Musketeer, NATO, Knight, Goblins, Fireball. And
So-
Hawk is getting nerfed, Knight is getting nerfed, Goblins getting nerfed, and the 2 spells.
So this is a
Sept and
significant
Fireball.
nerf to free-to-play players on ladder. It's like a really
Yes.
indirect nerf, right? Wow.
Yes.
But yeah, definitely, you know, Goblin Gang, Goblin Barrel, Goblins all gaining a 6% damage nerf. You know, I still think Logbait's going to be viable, but it's going to be very significant nerfs in terms of damage. You know, the Rocket got nerfed, the Goblins got nerfed, a lot of those, the Knight got nerfed. 3 of those cards from the Logbait deck got nerfed, so that's actually the Log got it nerfed as well, but you know, that's not too big of a thing.
And
but...
Rocket. And Rocket.
So I'm actually going to make a bold prediction here. I think Logbait will still be one of the better decks post-update. I think they'll just swap out Goblin Gang for Guards, and I think the deck will be almost as effective as it is now. Obviously, it's not going to do quite as much damage through all the cards, but I still think the way it's played will work out really well in the long run.
That's right. The Guards got a 5% HP
Yes.
damage buff. That's insane. HP and damage, and then the hit speed as well. You know, from 1.2 seconds to 1.1. That's insane. It's just, you know, we'll talk about this later, but that's just overall. If guards are charging to your tower now, you don't contest them. The tower takes 3 shots. Oh no, actually 5 shots to finish off your guards instead of what it was. I think it was like 4 shots. So that's a total like, you know, another like 3 shots in order to kill all the guards, and that could be a significant more damage that your guards get on the tower. So overall, guards might be back.
Yes,
I think Guards are going to be probably one of the best cards in the new meta, at least in the beginning stages. I think it'll be almost everywhere.
And insane guards are pretty much a card that we haven't really seen viable since I think it was like early Goizen or Minor Control meta, like almost a year and a half ago.
Yes,
So,
and the same thing. Prince is getting a little bit buff. Because of that, I think many people are trying the new Prince out, and so guards come back into meta. What do you think, guys?
well, the Prince buff is great, but the thing is, you know, guards are also getting buffed, and so they're going to be more everywhere.
Because of that, getting guards back into meta.
So it might be a thing where, you know, Prince got buffed, but guards got buffed, the direct counter to Prince. So it might be a rough time for Prince, but I think it might be a little bit more viable, maybe with Dark Prince charges, because they can get through guards easily. But
yes, I think Golem double Prince will be really good.
Yeah, Toby and I were talking about this a little earlier, and I think Prince won't really work in a lot of decks unless it's Golem or maybe Giant. We'll see, but it'll thrive in big beatdown decks where guards won't be enough to defend because they have so many troops more, like Baby Dragon, Night Witch, Prince, Golem. Like, guards aren't going to do anything to that. They're just going to get melted instantly.
Yes, and if you have Poison with Golem,
you can
it's over at that point.
Yeah, you get to the guards pretty easily. Poison's still going to be a really, really strong card because it still deals the exact amount of damage to units. It's just, you know, it won't deal as much damage to the towers. So the last card I think we want to talk about that got, you know, nerfed and buffed are the Giant Skeleton and the Skeleton Barrow. Did they actually did they say anything about the actual damage added from the Skeleton Barrow? I don't believe Supercell released anything of the actual damage, but
not yet.
Should be
I
interesting.
think they're waiting and doing like some last minute playtesting to see what would be broken, because if it did anything more than 100, the card will be in every deck. It's just gonna be absurd. I think it'll likely be like 30 or 50, like a really small amount, maybe enough for like a skeleton or bats or something. But like anything more would just be insane.
It would be insane if it had the same like death damage that a balloon had. Imagine like it pops, it does like 200 damage, and you know minor chip decks would be everywhere with Skeleton Barrow.
Skeleton Barrow would be the best card in the game, period, because like it would do the death damage of like 200, which stops a lot of units. It's an air tank, and then you have like what I think it's like 10 or 12 skeletons that spawn.
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna be super.
Be so powerful.
I wonder if the death damage actually does damage to towers as well. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like the balloon, but you know, it should be interesting.
I don't think it will be death damage.
Skeleton Barrow, it's added death damage now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry guys.
So it's gonna be kind of like the
All good.
balloon.
All good.
So this giant skeleton, I think it's gonna be kind of the same in terms of like the giant skeleton. 5% HP, you know, it doesn't. It gives a little, maybe a little bit more chances to make to the tower, but you know, it's just.
But not really.
It's kind of like Valkyrie to the point where it's just like one of those cards that just.
Yeah, so like Bomber. It's a good card in Arena 6 or 7, but not in competitive play.
I agree.
So I was actually having a conversation with Juicy J and Swood earlier about this, and I think the only way to make Giant Skeleton viable would be to make it target towers only, and then increase its attack speed to like fast, and then make it 7 elixir, because then it'd have its own unique little role.
Yeah,
it would still.
Sounds interesting.
I think that would be one way to do it, like a complete rework, because just buffing stats, the card will never be viable. It's just not, unless they give it like a bomb that does like what 5,000 damage or something crazy.
Yeah, because you're essentially the only way it's viable is that if it lands a bomb on a tower, and the chances of you landing the bomb versus all these NATO little skeletons, Ice Spirit, you know, cards that distract forever, Ice Golems, it is slim to none. And people have like Mega Knight as well, P.E.K.K.A.s that completely counter it. It's just, you know, a card that it's just never going to be able to compete versus cards like the Mega Knight P.E.K.K.A. or even like Golem. It doesn't do like essentially nothing to Golem.
You play better a Rocket against Golem and Rocket for backup instead of playing a giant skeleton and wait until it explodes.
All right, guys. So those are the buffs and talks. Now let's go into the last couple of things that are changing. We got the Elixir Pump, and this is one of the buildings that's suspected.
Huge.
Okay, so let me explain to you guys what's going on right now. So if you can see here, we got, you know, Fireball and Poison would now be equal trades to the Pump. So instead of, you know, Pump getting the +1 exchange every time you Fireball or Poison, now it's equal Elixir exchange. Plus you take the tower damage. So that's actually a huge nerf to Pump. What do you guys think?
Yes, will be crazy.
As well as Miners. Now, Miner didn't get nerfed. So essentially, it's going to be able to pretty much take out a Pump a lot easier. Maybe like one less swing, it would stop the whole entire Pump. Because it's significant.
Before with Miner, it was 1.7 elixir off the first hit. So it was basically just 1. And then the second hit put it at 3.2, I think, or 3.4. So now it's just going to go 2-4 and, you know, 6-8. So it's only 4 hits to kill Pump, I think, if I did the math right on that. But it's a really significant nerf there. And Fireball Poison is now a complete even trade. So you spend 4, they spend 6, they get 2 back. So they're basically, you know, using 4, and you get the tower damage for free. So I think the only deck that'll really be able to utilize Pump now is pretty much Musketeers. I think Golem will have to find an alternative.
Yeah, I mean, Golem can always go in with, like, you know, another, Like, I think Golem decks are the ones that, you know, I think Yao Yao, he's the one that always runs, like, Miner, like, weird variants of Golem. So maybe that's what Golem is going to have to be, you know?
Yes, I've played in the Space Bracket MEL 360 League. I played a Golem Furnace deck with Miner. It's really solid.
And it has no Pump?
Yes, no Pump, Furnace for Pump, and like a good defense against Hawk, against Giants, Furnace. I had Inferno Dragon, Mega Minion, and Minions to support. Miner, Golem, Poison set. It's really solid.
That's nice. Definitely check out Tobi's channel for some neat Golem decks. But yeah,
yes, thanks.
This is going to be a really interesting nerf to the Pump. Pump is one of those cards that, you know, everyone disliked just because if you didn't have any way to contest it, you pretty much lost. It was a lot of RNG effect. Now let's see if, like, people just don't use it at all. I think it had the highest ban rate as well in the World Championship in London. It had the highest ban rate. So definitely going to be interesting to see, you know, what happens to the Pump after this. But the next building that we have is the Mortar bug fix. So I'm going to roll a clip actually to show you guys exactly what it is that goes on with the Mortar. Because, you know, it doesn't shoot at all if this unit is in the exact minimum range of the Mortar. And that reduces so much damage. And now that this bug is fixed, what do you guys think? Are we going to see a lot more Mortar in ladder now?
Yes. Unfortunately, I feel like we will see significantly more ladder than we have in the past. I think that was one of the big things holding that back, because like just any deck playing archers hard countered Mortar inherently. You just played on that spot, and they basically had a card that did nothing for 4 elixir. So I think Mortar will be a lot more popular, especially since it's very free to play friendly, and Hog just got a significant nerf.
I agree. What about you, Tobi?
Yes, I'm playing ladder all the time, and I'm always every time in top 200, and I always play against Mortar.
So you always play against Mortar right now with the bug. So wait until this patch hits, and let's see, you know, how much more. I actually want to see the win.
I would cry, dude. It's not. I almost play Hog Cycle every time with Inferno Tag, and if they have Mortar, I'm kind of fucked because they mostly has NATO Rocket. But the good thing is, Rocket gets a nerf. Not too much damage on the tower anymore. Hopefully it will change something. Because if they got 2 or 3 mortar hits, the most mortar player just play defense and rocket the tower.
Definitely
defense
agree.
mortar.
And they just defensive, it's so strong.
Yes.
And now that it's not buggy.
And if they get a bad matchup, you can almost throw it every time with mortar if you are very good.
I agree. As you guys know, Mortar is definitely not one of my favorite cards. So this is actually a huge blow to me on ladder. We'll see how we get through this. But yeah, guys, maybe more RGs are going to come in because, you know, Mortar is good. So, you know, what do you counter with...
Expo is good.
Yeah, Expo is good. So, you know, RG. Let's go max RG and ladder. So who knows? Who knows, guys? This meta is going to be insane. It was a great video. Thank you guys for coming on the show, on the channel. Man, have a great one, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Yo, thank you.
Peace.